Welcome everyone to our November 4th, 2025 Angels Camp City Council meeting. We'll do roll call.
Yes. Councilmember Foothills.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sharado.
Here.
Mayor Shemente.
Here.
Councilmember Scott.
Here.
Councilmember Brolio.
Here.
Thank you. Would you all please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance to our flag? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, Steve, presentation.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. We have an item agendized from the Central Sierra Economic Development District, who emailed me about a month ago asking to make a presentation just on general economic development in the region. I received an email from them last night saying that something has come up and they're not available today, but they would like to reschedule. So I gave them the option of the November 18th meeting or the December 2nd meeting, and they're discussing it amongst their staff. They would very much like to come and give that presentation. Something just came up and they're not available tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you, and thank you for helping to reschedule that. Moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda as posted. Any changes?
You know,
Okay. Any other comments from the council members? Any members of the public have any comments on our agenda as posted? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's been a motion and
A second.
a second. Any other discussion? Any discussion from those present? Anyone online? Do we have any
We have
folks
one
online?
person online.
Okay.
Nothing.
Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Foothills.
Aye.
Sharado.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott. Brolio.
All right, moving on to item 5, public comment. The public may address the council on any item of public interest, not otherwise on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the city. No action may be taken. Matters to be addressed may be referred to the city staff or placed on subsequent meeting agendas. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes per person. If you do have any public comment, please step to the podium, state your name, and I need to turn on the mic, please. Thank you.
Kimberly Fish, I live in Angels Camp, California. Well, here I am again. You guys need to listen to this. My husband on October 24th walked into the city hall, handed the gal at the desk a check for the water bill. Somewhere between handing it to her and her computer, she lost the check. They get a bill yesterday in the mail saying I didn't pay the water bill last month, and they're billing me for last month and this month. Unacceptable and incompetent. When I go in to discuss this, Michelle came out. They basically told me I was lying without saying I was lying. Are you sure you brought it in? 4 times, yeah, I'm sure. We parked right there. And come to find out, Steve just told us they watched the video camera of it and we were there. I am livid, and I'm not the only person that's mad about how this water thing is working out. It's not just the online stuff. People have brought in water bills and money's getting lost. Where's it going? Where's it going? Where's the accountability? Now, if we have to stop payment on the check, we're responsible for it? It's ridiculous. And I'm gonna be the only one that's gonna say anything. Reason why people don't come is because you guys don't listen to anybody. They say that online. You guys read social media. Scott, you commented too. You comment a lot, you see it. So pay attention, people. Something needs to be done. Either you eat the bill or this needs to be fixed, and being treated the way I was at the desk, unacceptable. That needs disciplinary action. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
My name's Nate Young. Hello again. I think I'm gonna come here and say this every single time until we get it done. Let's get a sign up that says Historic Angels Camp with an arrow pointing downtown. And if it's not in the budget, I'm happy to make a sign. So, thanks.
Thank you. We'll have staff look into that. Thank you. Any other public comment? Any public comment online?
No.
Okay. Thank you, folks, for your public comment. Moving on to item 6, consent items. There's one item. Approved draft minutes of October 21st, 2025. Does anyone want to pull that item? If there's any member of the public want to pull this item? Anybody online?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent?
I'll make a motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any discussion from those present? Anyone online? Hearing none, roll call.
Behill.
Aye.
Sharado. Aye. Shamante.
Aye.
Scott. Aye. Brolio.
Aye.
Moving on to item 7A, action items, resolution 25-86, identifying top discussion priorities for a joint meeting between Utica Water and Power Authority elected bodies. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. You're going to put your glasses on, I'll put my glasses on. So before you tonight is a request to consider a resolution that would identify the top priorities of this council for a joint meeting between the Utica JPA. A little bit of background: in July of this year, July 22nd actually of this year, the UWPA Board of Directors expressed an interest in having a joint JPA meeting of all the elected bodies coming together. After that meeting, on August 26th of this year, 2025, the Utica Board of Directors, or the UWPA Board of Directors, they considered 5 possible topics that they would like to see discussed during this joint JPA meeting. And of those 5 topics, they're listed in your staff report. They then narrowed them down to 3. The 3 top priorities for the UWPA board as per the August 26th meeting was discussing the 5-year funding agreement between the agencies, the Angels penstock reconstruction, and regional water reliability studies. So now it's up to this city council and the union, the UWPD board, to each decide amongst this body and amongst that body, do you want to discuss one or more of these 5 topics that they generally brought up? Do you agree with the 3 that they chose, or do you want to choose different topics to discuss during this joint JPA meeting? I've created a draft resolution. You can see the resolution is blank on the topics because I don't know what you're going to choose. So once you choose the topics that you want the JPA board, joint board to discuss, I will insert those topics in that resolution. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
So Caroline and Alvin, at your recent Utica board meeting, did these top 3 change?
No.
Would you guys like to speak to those items since you are representing the city on Utica? If you, I'm just so, you so choose.
Go for it, Chair. You're the chair lady. Go for it. And I'll fill in wherever.
Yeah, so we had an Angels penstock reconstruction presentation earlier this year, and there were several different options to look at. It is something that's a little bit more urgent than some of the other things listed on those 5 bulleted items. The 5-year funding agreement we all agreed upon when we met, I don't know, 2 years ago. We all sat in this room and all said yes to the 5-year funding agreement. However, UPUD had some language change to it with their legal, and they got busy and they haven't been able to approve that. So thus we haven't been able to approve it because we're waiting on the change in verbiage. Now they want to come back and just have another discussion about the last 3 years of this funding agreement. So
Yeah, I believe there were some questions.
there's some question that they had.
Right.
So that's why it's on the list. And then lastly, the regional water reliability study. So with each entity, each agency is all looking at their own redundant water system. And so with that, a lot of money is being spent on planning and just looking at that. And so would it make more sense to do like a regional water study, or just kind of just to have a discussion about it? So.
And that topic was actually brought up last night by Gary Conrado, that we had all kind of agreed to do a roundtable kind of discussion, and there was actually, I think, an MOU that was talked about, and it kind of died on the table for a little while, but that could all, so that does tie into that too, so.
Right, so it sounded like, it sounded like when we came away from that, the GMs are all gonna meet. So the GM of Utica, GM of Union, and our city administrator to talk a little bit more about that, so they can maybe move that forward if need be. So, so that's just kind of an overview of those.
And I did not have.
The decommissioning of the Angels Powerhouse is not, because we're in the middle of the FERC exemption application, that doesn't seem like it's something that would be
Why don't
eminent.
let's take a step back and talk about the FERC exemption for those folks who may not know what we're doing, if you could.
So with having two powerhouses, Murphy's and Angels, under 5 megawatts, the FERC relicensing is coming up, and it's a $10 million price tag. So what we have done is submitted an application to become exempt from that, because if we were to build those powerhouses now, we wouldn't even have to be under FERC. So it makes sense to come out from under FERC. It's very expensive. And so in doing that, we put in about $1.5 million into that exemption, so that we don't have to pay the $10 million when it comes due and have to go through all those studies. So that's where we're at.
And the money,
Yes,
we
so
spent
people
for
know.
that, the money we've spent to try and get the exemption, if we don't, can be spent towards getting the relicensing, if we have to get the relicensing, and hopefully we can get the exemption. Also, just to top on that, we also have the Department of Water Safety, dam safety, that we still have to regulate with. So just because FERC, the federal side, would be relinquished, there's still all sorts of state stuff that we basically do redundant now for the feds and the state. So we would still be state compliant, we would just miss that fed side of it.
Yeah.
So just for safety concerns or anything like
And
that.
in terms of a fiscal
Yearly
commitment,
inspections and all that.
Right,
Sorry.
so if the FERC exemption gets approved, which they say takes about 18 months to 2 years is what we're looking at, we submitted it in August, so the clock starts there. We would see a reduction in what we have to pay just in the Utica budget, because we're not setting aside funds for that exemption or for the relicensing. All that kind of goes away. So that should start reducing our input from the city and from UPUD. The agency's amount would go down. Plus, we've been doing a ton of CIP, so by then also the CIP should be slowing down. So we should start to see within the next 3 to 5 years like a nice reduction, and not have any increases in the UWPA for a long time.
So that-
maybe even a reduction.
the numbers, about $500,000 a year that Utica has been spending for this FERC exemption. And that's all budgeted in our water bills. If we get the exemption, we don't need to spend $500,000 a year. So hopefully, what Caroline is saying, and I'm just echoing, we can look at reducing the rates. And so that's what we're hoping for. I appreciate both of you guys serving on the committee and helping to make sure that we continue to have a reliable water source coming our way. I appreciate that. Any other comments from the council?
Yeah. I would like to see, in the interest of public transparency, again, we're talking about our water and sewer, our water delivery. And there's two parts to it. We have conveyance. What does it take to get the water down the mountain to Angels Camp? And what would that cost if there were no power plants? And then we have 2 power plants that generate revenue to offset that cost. And I'd like to see us discuss how we can show accounting to the public of what those numbers are. Does it cost, are the power plants, are they saving us money, or are they costing us money? Are they saving us so much money that it's worth investing in the penstock, investing in updating the capital, doing all the CIP projects? It seems like it's hard for me to get my mind around making decisions on big dollar items if we don't even really have a good idea of what the dollar revenue situation is. So I'd like us in that meeting to talk about how we can make that more transparent, and can we do a formal audit? What would it take if we just did conveyance? You know, how much does the power add to our cost, and how much does it add to revenue, and just do the math and put the math out there so people can see what we're dealing with.
You go ahead.
So if I remember right, I got two different things. So when we first decided to look into doing the exemption, I remember we looked into that. And that was a big portion of decommissioning. There was a whole thing. I'd have to look back and get that report. That's been a few years, and I've stopped.
Or I would just say, sit down with Dave, our interim GM, and get that report.
Or
There's never been, as far as I know, there's never been a good report published. There's been arguments about, for example, would you even need a GM if it was just conveyance? You know,
Or the other-
I mean, what would it take? So
The other one
discussion
was-
about what it would look like if it was just conveyance, and what's it look like now, and what's the difference?
the other one was too that I think when Ryan gave that presentation, I believe at the beginning of it there was, and I'm trying to step back and it's been a little while. I believe there were numbers that showed that the Angels Powerhouse brings in $500,000 a year, and it costs 108. And I'm pulling numbers out of thin air. It's 500 and something thousand that it generates, and it costs 100 and something right now. You know, on a yearly basis. If the CIP projects we move forward, then there is some money, and I think it would recoup itself in 22 months. There were some numbers on what you're asking for in there,
Okay.
built into that
So
presentation.
if we can have that conversation during the meeting though.
But I think that-
And guess I'll agree with what definitions of what, and then put some accounting to it to see where we go.
So that's fine. So in the Angels Penstock discussion,
Right.
we can throw in there what it generates without. Does that? Because
And the co-
does that
and the
fit
co-
into what you're after?
You know, again, I want to just be real clear. What would it cost us to bring water down with or without power? What's the incremental difference those power plants are bringing us? And is it worth investing millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure to maintain that? Or is there a better way?
Well, and then you have to look at the cost of decommissioning those powerhouses.
That's why that's on there, I think, is because people are thinking along the lines of, what if we did decommission,
Well,
what would it be?
Right, but if you decommission, like the Angels Penstock, then you have to come up with $600,000, plus the cost of that. So I think it's
Right, this
it's
is
a
the
valid
discussion I want to have.
discussion.
This is the
Right,
discussion I want to have during that meeting.
Right. So we can throw that. We can throw that one out
We
at
can
that.
throw that into the board and see if it's something that's a priority to them. I'm feeling like, I don't know. I mean,
And this
we
is
can
a
throw it
joint
in.
between city council and
And
UPD
UPD.
and
Yeah, the
UPD.
board, yeah.
So I think the city council's wishes should count for something, not just the board.
Right. I think we want. I
Well,
think we
it's
wanted to go
input
with
from both
3.
agencies,
Right.
but the Utica board is the one that's is putting, the priorities together.
And I think for right
Based
now,
on
we just wanted to
input
stick.
from
We want
that.
to stick with 3 topics too. is the
Yeah,
only
and
thing. We got to
we
whittle.
don't want to be there for 6 hours either. That's the other thing.
That's
I
one
wanna
of the
see-
things.
Yeah, but I want to see some transparency. There's a reason that we're having this meeting, and a lot of it is because because the board is doing things that are questionable.
Well,
What
but
board?
what board? The
What
board
For
board?
is,
UWPA, I'm not saying doing things wrong. I'm saying there's questions are being asked and they're not being answered.
I would say the transparency issues is coming from UPUD, honestly.
So, but
But that's just me.
Okay, that's why we should have this discussion in that meeting.
But I think the greater question about conveyance versus power generation, those were addressed and dealt with before we went into the FERC exemption application. That's why they made the commitment to $1.5 million to go into that. Otherwise, we would have been going down a different path. I mean,
Okay, so I'm ignorant of those conversations. I
Right,
haven't
so
seen
that's-
those numbers, so
yeah.
again.
So
That's what I'm
that's why I implore you to go sit with the GM.
right.
over
Did
at
you sit
Utica
with Joel?
because
Did you go see Joel before?
They
he got
had
out of
The
there?
that.
public can't go sit with the GM. This is something they should think.
Well, we can do a report,
Transparent.
we can do a presentation here. I don't know that we need to go and,
That would be a
rehash
good
that at a
discussion. I think
JP
that'd be a
meeting.
good discussion to have at that meeting though.
I mean, we can,
That's fine.
we'll
We
bring
can.
it.
I can throw it
bring
out, or we can
throw
tie
out
part of
there.
it in.
Yeah.
We can tie part of it in. We can tie it with the Angels Penstock or something of that nature too.
Yeah,
We can bring it back. It's just we also need to keep not a full day meeting, and we could with everything that's going on, you could easily do hours of meetings. So.
yeah.
Either way, yeah, we can. I'll throw that one in the ring and see
Well,
what they say.
and the other thing is, I want to make sure that our irrigators who are taking advantage of the penstock aren't going to be left out in the cold too, when we talk about, if we don't continue to have water flow through there, how many irrigators are going to be bothered by that decision? And, and is there an alternative way? So I think there's a lot of discussion.
And I can say I'm pretty confident from what I remember of when we decided to go for the exemption. We did a pretty good dive on all of our options, whether decommission, all that stuff. Even in that report, it recouped its own money within a certain amount of time. So I think there's enough data to give you and whoever you want to some numbers shortly, I believe.
And so,
without having the whole joint, it may suffice what you want to look at or show people anyways. Without having a whole joint topic on it, I think it would probably be the easiest, maybe.
so I have two questions. One, should we wait until you guys are in the process of hiring a new general manager?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So I know Dave is doing a good job. Should we schedule this meeting after this person is hired? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so is that what the consensus of the Utica
Yes.
JPA is? Okay. And my second, Sarah, question is, when both boards come together, the Utica JPA is a standalone JPA with their own set of bylaws and procedures, et cetera. So in my mind, the only thing that we can do in that situation is make a recommendation to the Utica board that they agendize that item and talk about it.
Correct, yes, because you're gonna be really careful about what your agenda says in the discussion, but if there's not action items for the Utica board to take at that meeting, it would have to come back to a future meeting. And there also may be items that need to come back to your city council or to the other board to consider, and then the representatives from each that go back to that JPA would then be taking, direction essentially from your city council meeting to that next meeting, so yes.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I mean, we can hear from the public, but then we do need to figure out if we're whittling it down to 2 or 3 or what we want to do.
Should we open it up and then we'll come back and decide? Any comments from the public? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. That's all right.
Yes,
You're good.
I'm completely naive about this, I'm just asking. So our powerhouses, do we own these, or do we sell electricity to PG&E? Is that kind of how it works?
Yes, we own them and we sell the power. Yeah, there's the Utica one as you leave Murphy's and go up the grade right there, and then there's the one right over here
Okay.
behind us.
Oh, cool. And then the second one, you mentioned the $10 million fork.
FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory
Federal.
Commission. There's so many acronyms,
Where
yeah.
is she?
So what do you get for $10 million if you're spending that kind of money? What happens?
You get to be allowed to have your powerhouses run.
Yes.
So it's just a money grab.
It's
It's the bureaucracy, red tape, and somebody put a price tag on it somewhere along the lines. It's a tax that's just not called a tax, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
So-
a lot of money.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's a heck of a study.
Any other questions, comments? Anyone online?
No questions online.
Okay, so we'll bring it back to the council.
Yeah, so I'm going to comment if I can.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. One of the comments they have here, the FERC exemption plan, we discuss possible course of action should FERC exemption be denied. To me, that's a hypothetical we don't need to spend a lot of time on.
No.
And so if we're looking to save time, that would be one way to cut that out.
Well, we wanted to just get it down to 2 or 3
Those
items,
three,
not
yeah.
all 5. Those were the
Yeah.
5 that we threw out there for everybody to discuss. And then, those were some of the things that we kind of highlighted. And then if we could get it down to 2, that would be ideal because, again, it's 14 people in a room.
Yeah, I think trying to avoid getting lost in the weeds is what it would be
Yes.
important. So that we can, again, come out with something that's transparent, we're all on the same page. And we don't all have to know everything about everything. But we
Right.
do have to know generally what we're doing.
And just for backstory too, so we did meet, holy moly, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
How long ago did we have the joint JPA?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. And there was some discussion, and that's where this 5-year budget cycle came out, was the administrator, the city administrator and the other two decided to sit down and do this 5-year budget. And to get that approved, I think is a major thing to have happen, which it's been approved, just have to ratify it basically.
Right, we
Yeah.
just need it.
So, and there's questions, and for me, the Angels pen stock is a big, it is a big ticket item, and we need to look at it. And then the regional water on what we're doing, I think is another. I think those 3 topics do touch all the key points for me.
Yeah.
But,
Those are my
Right.
Yeah.
But Utica is no different than the city right now. We're gonna start our 4th CIP project to upgrade our sewer system. I mean, and you can't expect an organization or an agency to continue running stuff without investing money to keep it going. And that's what Utica is doing. And so that's why for years there wasn't any charges, as I understand
There
it.
was nothing. It was a $1 charge.
Yeah, and so therefore, but now.
And
you
now
know,
we have to play catch up.
Yeah, and if you check off a CIP project, you shouldn't be coming back to that for 20 years. So,
Right.
you know, it's being good stewards of a system that delivers us
And if you keep
water.
doing that maintenance, then from here on out, then, I mean, it's a big hill to climb and then it'll plateau off. But yeah, there wasn't much done for quite a few years. But now we gotta play catch up. And we're in the middle of an outage right now. Yearly, projects get
Right.
done.
Right.
Feet of that 3/4 mile, hundreds of feet of that 3/4 mile flume. And if you guys ever get a chance to go look at the pictures, it's pretty impressive, the side of the mountain they built it on. It's a heavy undertaking and we're gunite more and more, so we have less leakage. And that's part of this whole plan. And even Dave Andrews and Michael Minkler, when he was there, Dave preached that we have to start doing some of the CIP stuff. I think you were on the board when Dave was preaching that, you know, the CIP project had to start happening and stuff, so.
So I don't have an issue to talk collectively about a regional water reliability. You know, for you folks to understand, about 2 or 3 meetings ago, we contracted with our city engineer and their company to see whether or not we can drill some wells for our city to get a redundant water source. Because those of you who were here for the Darby fire in 2001,
Yeah.
see, I got it right this time, remember that when the flume burned, we were shut, we didn't have water. So we're looking at that. So I think it's always good to have meetings and discuss, but I'd like to see the cost benefit of moving away from us exploring our own wells too, if we wanted to do something jointly, Steve. So we're down to 3. Is there any
I think for sure moving
consideration?
forward with the 5-year and the Angels Penstock, I think with the regional
I
water
agree.
reliability study, we can maybe wait and see what the
Which-
GMs come up with.
I agree.
And them working on some of that stuff. But I think 3 topics is a lot for having all those folks in one room. And we had talked about meeting twice a year, so maybe we take that into consideration so we can get more discussion on some of these other topics too. So,
So is that a motion?
sure.
No.
Motion to consider to suggest the 5-year funding agreement and Angels Penstock reconstruction as the 2 topics of priority for the joint JPA meeting.
Is there a second?
I will second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council?
So we're losing the regional water reliability study?
No, they're gonna
No, the
meet.
GMs are meeting
The
and that's
GMs
gonna
are
come back
meeting.
to Utica to,
Okay, but we're not gonna discuss that in this joint. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll have time, but we'll see. We can.
Well, if there's some kind of resolution or some kind of, if we have information about wells or information about an interconnect or something like that, it'd be worth discussing. If we don't have that information, there's nothing to discuss, right?
When was that report gonna be done for the wells?
I don't
It's
I don't know that it was necessarily about that in general, but I think it was
Right.
more about what makes the most sense to help all the, to help the community, the Highway 4 communities. Would it make sense to have one solution or each of us have our own solutions? I think that was part of it, right? And then each of, like, I know UPUD is talking about the inter tie-in with CCWD. They've got, that started, a plan started on that, which then doesn't really help the city if the flume burns.
But there is a
So,
tunnel tap option that we could pursue.
yeah.
That
And then
could
there's
be
the
talked into
lower
there.
tunnel tap, which would cut, like, what is it, 13 of the flumes?
Yeah, that's a
It
whole
would
bunch
cut
of that.
13 flumes if they burned, and we could still get water to the city, but we could also still get water to UPUD.
And another thing that I'm thinking of is UWPA is what it is. And if we're gonna come up with a redundant water source outside of UWPA, like a well or something different, UWPA shouldn't even, there's no discussion. It shouldn't be tasked. It's
No.
not fair to task UWPA
No.
with the redundant water supply. And so maybe it occurs to me that's not
Yeah.
that's not even an issue that
Right.
And it's a legislative mandate that
It
we
is
explore.
yeah, exactly.
That we
It's being
explore
mandated that
redundant
we
water
have,
source.
yeah, a redundant water source for
Okay.
over X amount of people in your community.
So,
Okay, so
okay, so we can discuss it, but not under UWPA, like,
Right.
that's, we can have a discussion with UPUD if they have a source and they wanna go in partners, or we can cooperate, but that's outside of UWPA.
I don't think UWPA would be like a deciding factor in there, but they're that's our JPA. That's who we hold it with. And Utica has the opportunity to do a tunnel tap to
Right.
bypass a whole bunch of flumes, tunnel tap over, and both communities get served water.
So that's where the UWPA ties
That's
in.
where the UWPA ties in.
Is there are options with that flume system.
So there's
We can
options
tag-
within and without.
Correct.
UWPA.
Yes, so that's, I think it's
So
a
if-
regional, it's a whole,
Yeah.
all these GMs, Angels, CCWD, Murphy's, and UWPA all need to talk about some sort of a regional action plan.
And since CCW is not part of this meeting, that's not an issue, it's not, we can't discuss something without them there that would involve them so deeply.
Right, and that's where this Highway 4 corridor
That's where
has
Steve
met,
comes
and there is already a resolution that happened a little while back about a conversation of this regional water supply amongst ourselves, and that's where the 4 GMs was brought up last night at the meeting, that they would all start meeting again and have this discussion. So until they kind of report back on some grandioso ideas for us kind of to look at, it could be scratched too.
Yeah. I think it's good to look at it because if UPUD and CCWD are asking for FEMA funding and having their ratepayers come up with 25% of it, if we're looking at also a solution and then Utica has a solution and they're all $14 million, why would we do that if you can have one solution that serves everybody in one project? So that's why I think it's worth discussing, but it seemed like, you know, everyone's kind of doing their own thing and we're not talking to each other, so.
Right.
That's part of the problem.
Okay,
So there's been a
so-
motion, is there a second? To narrow it down to 2 items.
Those 2 items and the feasibility study for Penstock is part of that.
Right,
Yes.
the 5-year
Yes.
funding agreement. and
Angels Penstock with
reconstruction.
feasibility, yes.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? Discussion from the public? Any discussion regarding this item? Michael?
Yeah. You were talking about the wells, okay? Where were you planning on drilling these wells? Are you talking about the central channel?
What's that? Is up by where our tank is now? I think so. I think that's where they're going to explore.
That central channel only makes 350 gallons a minute.
Yeah, but what we're looking for is just
Emergency.
emergency water, not a new water supply, just in case the
Okay.
3/4 mile goes down.
Wouldn't it be cheaper? Well, I understand that. It's only 350 feet down to the bottom of the channel.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be cheaper for that because you'd have to do basically an irrigation well? It would have to be a large well, which is very costly. Wouldn't it be cheaper to go to CCWD's line in Vallecito and tie onto that one? And bring it down?
But then I think that's what we're looking at. What does it cost to extend that line, and how far would that line have to be extended in order to get into our water system?
Yeah, that's a whole separate issue.
That's what this regional discussion would be about.
That's what we're doing, okay.
Yes.
Because that's stopped at 6 mile, but that's only a 6-inch line if I believe correctly.
Yeah,
So it has to be enlarged from the Vallecito.
if they have yeah, but that's where all of us would have to get together and they don't have to brainstorm and come up with
And
something.
see, and right now, Michael, what UPUD is doing with CCWD, that tap from Forest Meadows, is they're gonna bring water to them,
Right.
for whatever that cost is, but it doesn't get water to us very easily. So I think what we're doing is we're exploring our options and exploring what it would cost for each of those options.
Okay, so 6 mile village basically is a 6-inch line, I believe, correct? I think it's a 6-inch line. Wouldn't it be cheaper to bring that 6-inch line down to do basically right down here?
Well, I'd have to go to the
I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's already treated water from CCWD, correct?
I think that's something that we can explore.
Because that's already there.
Everything's on the table for the
Yeah.
redundancy.
Okay. That's what I was asking. Because like I said, that Utica shaft, the Utica channel, or the central channel, it only makes 350 gallons a minute. So by the time you pull that out, and you start pulling water out of that, like how many wells would be affected from that? There's a lot of wells on that channel. There's a lot of wells. It goes all the way down through, well, it starts in Vallecito, comes all the way through that backside. It goes all the way down.
And, you know, what we're hoping is that we never have to turn that pump on.
Yeah, if you
But
did,
it-
you,
but-
you
yeah.
dry up a lot of people.
Well, let's hope that we never have to. But we do have to have a plan. It's a state mandate.
Well, I know that.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Anybody online?
No questions.
Okay, so roll call.
Esposito.
Aye.
Sharada.
Aye.
Shalente.
Aye.
Scott. Aye. Ferraro.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to item 8, informational items. Steve?
Yes, sir.
None? Okay, moving on to item 9, administration report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I have three things. First is, I believe it was the last council meeting, I was asked to provide an update on the Angels Creek Trail project. And I'm happy to report that on October 31st, we got the final environmental approval that we've been waiting for. That has been the thing that has been stopping forward movement on that project. It's the NEPA. It is the NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act categorical exclusion, which means we can move forward with the project. The next stage of the project is the final design from start to finish. There is a preliminary design, so that design needs to be finalized. That work will be done by our city engineer's office. After the final design is completed, we will start with right-of-way acquisitions, whatever right-of-way we will need to acquire to complete the project. We have some funding identified, but probably not all of the funding identified. We have some funding in local transportation fund, LTF money. There's some money in there, not a lot. And then COG, Caltrans through COG has already identified money specifically for the 28-29 year, somewhere around $1.6 million, and we can get that earlier if we need to get it earlier, but that's the total amount that has been already committed to this project. So that's where we are right now. I was happy to see that we got the exemption that we were looking for so we can move it forward. And now it's just on to finalizing the plan and starting to acquire the properties.
And did we, I got a quick question, did we shuffle funds from that? Did we loan that money out?
We did.
We
Remember?
did.
We
We
did,
loaned
remember?
it.
through
Right, because
COG?
we
Yeah.
didn't, okay.
We loaned it to the Valley.
Stanford, was it
Springs
Stan?
Bridge.
No, no, it was the Valley Springs, that's right.
Bridge.
Okay.
So my understanding of that is the money was to be available in the 24-25 and 25-26 year, but we weren't ready for the money yet because we were waiting on this exemption. So the money that was allocated to us in those 2 fiscal years were used for other projects in the county.
Yes.
And that money that we should have used but weren't ready to use is going to be available in the 28-29 year.
Okay.
And earlier if we need it.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And then, does Miss Rajo know about this, or can you?
Yeah, we'll take it tomorrow.
Perfect, thank
She
you.
does, yeah. I've had numerous conversations with her, getting me up to speed on COG available funding. So,
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Next item I have is the automated meter reader update. I can report that we have purchased approximately half of the automated meter readers that we need to completely retrofit the entire city with automated meter readers. And just for the public, one of the significant advantages to automated meter readers is we have a staff of 5 people in our public works department. And those 5 people are committed for about a week every month going out and physically walking properties and pen and paper writing down meter reads, which takes a lot of staff time. It's subject to error. We're all human. Mistakes can be made. So these automated meter readers would allow our staff, instead of driving through town and getting out of their car and walking up to properties, they take a tablet and the meter reader emits some type of signal to the tablet that automatically does what they now have to go on foot and pen and paper and do. So we purchased last year about half of the meter readers that our automated meter readers that we need. You will hear a report from Dave Richard at the November 18th meeting, your next city council meeting, as a request to purchase the second half that we need and put a bid out for a contractor to actually install those.
There it is.
So that is very much underway.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any comments from council regarding the report?
No.
Any comments from the public? Anyone online?
No comments on
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Steve. Moving on to city council reports.
Sorry, I have one more item.
Oh, okay.
Last item was the city council monthly update.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
in your
I'm sorry.
packet is the monthly update, and I'd just like to point out a couple of items on that and then answer any questions that you have. As we do, we list the current CIP projects so that the council, the community, whoever's curious about what capital improvement project the city is currently working on, it's right on the front page of the document every time. And it also lists the next anticipated one. So we're currently in the Vallecito sewer line upgrade project. That's expected to be complete in the second quarter of 2026. The next project is the East Angels sewer water line. That's expected to be complete in 2027. Some of the significant things that occurred in October was the Purdy Road sewer and water project was complete, another CIP project that we can check off the box. The CSG as needed services agreement. On one of these pages, I list for you all of our code enforcement efforts, and I don't know how he did it, but we're down to 6. We have 6 open code enforcement violations in the entire city. When I was here in July of 2024, the first time, we had 58. So Michael has done an outstanding job bringing us from 58 open cases down to 6. Pretty amazing. And then as the mayor mentioned, we also have our engineers starting to develop the groundwater exploration plan that he's going to do. We installed some of the bench and tree plaques at Utica Park that people have purchased. So some of those plaques have been installed, and I think we have either 4 or 6 more to install. We had a new police officer graduate from the police academy, and I wanted to bring him here tonight to introduce him to you, but he has another commitment. I think it was a training thing that he had to do tonight. So we would like to introduce you to him at your next council meeting. He has started field training with an experienced police officer, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Council reports. Alvin?
We had Utica last night, which we kind of went over. Basically, the big thing was we had election of officers. Eric Bottomley is your vice chair, and what was
Bruce
Bruce
Tallison.
Tadlick. Yes. We have 2 new members from Murphy's. He's the secretary. And then we also had a presentation from Murphy's on their intertie that they're trying to do with CCWD. That was very informative that I had not seen yet, so I appreciated that. And that was it.
I'd
It was
only
a pretty,
seen a little bit of that, but it was good to have Jessica,
Yeah.
the GM of UPUD there, and gave a very good overview of what was going on. And also they had an algae bloom
Yeah.
situation
Yeah,
and
they
how
did.
they had to deal with that, and they had to bypass that reservoir, and it was down to the wire to make it so that we could do our planned outage for November. I think they got clearance just at the end of October, but yeah, they were dealing with a lot, so it was good.
Anything else, Alvin?
that was it. It was pretty quickie, short.
Yeah. Talk about LAFCO.
Yeah, what'd you do?
went to
You
LAFCO.
went- yeah.
Come on, you can.
That was actually really, it was a lot. It was 3 full days of conferences and literally from 9 to 5. And just kind of taught me a little bit about more of what LAFCO does, about annexations and the sphere of influence and how it all came about when it started. And so just things that you would never think about, like where your fire comes from, your police officer, like just how it all ties in together. So it was very fascinating to how that gets, how it all, like the structure comes together. So that was fun. Met a lot of of great people who are there from surrounding counties, and a couple wanting to get together like a monthly basis, so in other rural communities. And I did our first meeting on Thursday, where it's like rural communities so we can have more of a voice in Sacramento and Washington.
Okay.
So we had people from Yolo and Inyo, Truckee, Plumas, just kind of an ideas of what, just shared what our struggles are with our cities and like how they've overcome them. So we're gonna start doing them like a monthly
Oh, neat.
meeting, so that way we can kind of come together on things and feed off that. So, and then other than that, we have a meeting next week.
On 20th.
Yeah,
And you guys are hiring an AGM as well, right?
we're looking
We're
at.
trying.
We're trying. So that's about that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Oh, well, thank you. Caroline?
I attended the Firewise county-wide event at the fairgrounds on Saturday, and I wanted to make sure that it was captured that, and I think it's on our website too, but it's angelsfirewise.com. If you go to the website, you can download the certificate to give to your insurance company so that you can get that discount on your insurance. So angelsfirewise.com, and it's on the city's website from what I understand. Okay, great. Congressman McClintock was there, and I had the opportunity to chat with him a little bit as well. I've met him a few times because of UWPA's and this FERC exemption, and I've visited him in DC a couple of times, so he did remember me, which was nice.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. He actually remembers everybody.
Oh,
He's
wow.
he's one of those people.
Wow.
And then lastly, the Angels Camp Veterans Memorial District is handing out gift certificates to all of our veterans that are from Copperopolis to Vallecito. That's our district. We'll be doing that on the 15th and 16th of November from 10 to 4 at the Vets Hall on Raspberry Lane. So they're $125 a piece, so I know that's kind of needed right now.
That is neat.
That's amazing, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Scott?
And no report.
I have already downloaded my certificate. and
I
sent
have
it to my-
too.
Yeah. So I attended the Angels Camp Business Association and Destination Angels Camp Mixer and a Destination Angels Camp meeting. And Scott, I don't know if it would be appropriate or not, but I would love to attend when we have someone graduate from the academy, just to show a presence there that the city supports them and appreciates them choosing to work with us.
I will definitely let you know next time there's a graduation, which will be in January.
Thank you, because
I've
I
had a request in the past, I just attended one less than a month ago, so I appreciate any attendance.
and it's very neat. I've watched Andrew grow up and just develop into a fine young man, and I'm so appreciative of him choosing our city to work in and things like that. And under your guidance, I'm sure he's going to do a fine job. So, but if I would just like to attend if we could, if I
I'll let
could.
you know.
Thank you, sir. And that's all I have. Correspondence,
No correspondence.
calendar, and she has it up already.
There. Tomorrow, I put on the calendar the ribbon cutting for the wagon trail at 11.
Oh, right. That's on
And
Thursday.
then we
Oh,
also,
isn't it on Thursday?
is it Thursday?
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday,
Okay.
it's not Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I.
Thursday at 11 at Prospect 772.
Okay, Thursday. And then tomorrow, we do have the employee event here
Appreciation lunch.
at noon. You're all invited to join us. We'll have tacos and get to see everybody.
It's gonna
So
be raining.
I know.
Tomorrow?
These people
Yeah.
look over ahead. And courtesy of the fire department, they'll be cooking the tacos. So.
Oh, good.
And then we have COG also tomorrow. And then Planning Commission on the 13th. LAFCO on the 17th.
We've changed it to the 20th.
Did you change
but-
it to the 20th? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make a note here. And then we have, I added staff for the 2 staff member, the IRWMA and then the contact. And then we have the CSED, and I believe, is that still on Thursday? Kara, are you part of CSED? Was it?
Yes, but Mike has offered,
Yes,
he's gonna take that.
I am.
Okay. And then I
Doesn't
left,
trust
I know UWPA had a meeting last night. Are they continuing to keep?
We're gonna keep
We're gonna
that
keep it.
meeting just because as we're going
In
through
case you
this
need a
GM search,
Okay.
we need to keep our, if we do any hiring, it has to be at a public meeting.
Agendized
meeting.
meeting, yeah, a
Okay, then
regular
I'll leave
schedule.
that on the
We'll let you
calendar.
know if there's any change to that.
Thank you. And then for December, we have a few items on the calendar, standing meetings. No, if there's any additional.
And
items.
we actually haven't taken off the Utica meeting for December either, so if you wanna put that back on the
Okay.
30th, is it the 30th?
The fourth Tuesday? Or
Yeah,
fourth?
Third?
yeah, I
No,
know.
because we're the third, it's the fourth.
Yeah, I think it's the 23rd.
I'll have to look. I'll get back to you.
It's only Christmas Eve, it's not a holiday.
Yeah, true,
Whole month's off.
I know, it's terrible.
Thank you. Any other changes or suggestions?
Yeah.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item 13, future agenda items. Is there any future agenda items? Steve, do you have a list or?
I do have the Vallecito Sewer traffic plan. So also on the 18th, Dave Richards has been working with Sutton, who is the contractor, to develop a traffic plan and a way to communicate that traffic plan to the public. So he will be coming on the 18th to share that with you. The appeal from the Planning Commission's decision for the new Geneva School is scheduled for November 18th, which is your next council meeting. And I plan to put on probably also the 18th, sorry that it's going to be a packed agenda. The fact that we have a traffic mitigation study contract in place and that COG is going to do their own, so I want to let the council know about what I know for these two things happening, our own agreement with somebody to do a nexus study, and the fact that COG is going to do one and they've offered to include us in theirs. So I want to agendize an item so that you guys can have the discussion about, do we want to stick with the one that we have already approved or go with that one? So that is going to be on a future.
So we're
agenda
gonna
as well.
probably need to know the differences, because I remember Amy discussing the fact that the COG one may not be as comprehensive
Yeah.
as the one that we're doing, so we're,
Right, we need to hear the pros and cons of
Yeah,
each and the
right.
drawbacks and the
right, we need to
advantages.
see both the pros and cons of that.
Agreed, yes.
Because what we're trying to do is look at that to establish a rate that's more, which is better.
Yes.
Any other agenda items from,
For me, I know you talked to me, the Caltrans on the 49. I know you did get some word last night, I think you said, so if you could report out on that, that would be wonderful, because I would love to see Denver Street still
Yeah.
open to turn left into there.
Yeah.
The driveways, if you drive by them suckers, I don't know why they shorted them all by anywhere from 8 inches to 2 feet. I don't know why they did it, so, but if we could keep on Caltrans a little bit, there's still a lot of community outreach coming in at us. That'd be wonderful. And whatever you got, which I know you have a little something, would be wonderful.
Yeah, I can share that Caltrans has responded to my request to report back on the feedback that they heard both from the council and the community at the last meeting. And they did respond to me. They advised that they are working with their engineers internally to create a temporary traffic control plan. And they expect to see what they call meaningful improvements in the coming weeks. So they are working on something.
but we don't know what that something is.
We don't know what that something is.
So do we not have any say on as far as like a request that we can make? Like as far as, since this is a project that's gonna be next year at some point, can we not make the request to them? Are they not gonna hear us on? It'd just be kind of nice if all those pylons can just come down, if we can get both lights going. I mean, because they're not gonna be working, so I don't understand why all those pylons even need to be there, why we just can't. Like, maybe I'm just naive to that, but I don't understand why it would be so complicated to put that Demarest turn lane back in, get rid of those pylons and just get the lights going back and forth. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's that complicated. I mean, would be really nice for a lot of these businesses that can't get in and out, or like I have friends that live off of Lee Lane or whatever that just coming in and going, and it just seems like it's something simple. I mean, like I said, I could be ignorant to that, but it just seems like a simple fix.
My take on that is that request was made by the council members and by the public. I can formalize it by the city administrator formally writing a letter to Caltrans and making that request, and that hasn't been done yet, but I think they're very well aware of our desire to
Putting the roads back.
to normal.
Well, especially in light of Mike's Pizza, the guy's losing $10,000 a month. You know, and I did talk with my contact, so I'm glad that we're getting some response, because they went radio silent for a while, because they did meet that Friday, and it's been like a week and a half or so that they haven't got back to us.
Thanks for coming, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
They told us right there at the podium it'd take them a few days to get back to
Right,
us.
I took it as a week and went further than that, but we'll see Caltrans tomorrow at COG, and I was planning on just asking there as well. I mean,
I
why
think
not?
it's important.
So, yeah, and if we can just get an update, that's just, it's like with the Utica Park, we just got a kind of an update, because that'll be the hot topic for the next umpteen months.
Well,
So
yeah,
if we can
until
just get an update on that at every meeting, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
My plan is to, at least twice a week, keep emailing them, so I would expect by next council meeting, I'll have something hopefully a little more concrete than meaningful improvements in the coming weeks.
That's what's funny is that that was asked like in the last meeting, and then when I asked you about it and to get the meaningful improvement, I'm like, but isn't that what they were supposed to have been doing?
Yeah, but I think, unfortunately, it's a huge bureaucracy. And I think it's passed from one engineer to another safety thing. I mean, I think they listened, and I think they heard us.
But one of the gentlemen even said he saw no reason why we had to keep those delineators up.
Yeah.
And it would take, he says it would take just a few days to get a response. So hold him to his word. I mean,
Right, and then the fact that they were supposed to go, because I had listened to the meeting, even, I was at that conference, but I did go back and listen to the meeting, and I thought I heard him say that he was gonna go by and meet with those businesses that the driveways were short on.
I think they were just gonna drive by and look out. I think that's what.
He said he met with a lot of business
Yeah.
people.
But
Either way, hold their feet to the fire if you can, please, and
Yeah,
just
I
an
will.
update.
Oh, I thought it was moving out too.
Any other agenda items?
Nice.
Any agenda items from our public that's quickly disappearing? Would you guys like to say anything on a future agenda?
I'm overexcited.
I can tell, Tad. I can tell, Tad. And you were overexcited carrying all those packages out of the post office. You look like Santa Claus today.
They know how to order online.
I actually have one thing, Chief Ellis, don't shoot the messenger, but I feel like we need to maybe talk about or come up with some sort of plan, or I don't know, but I'm seeing a lot of stolen vehicles and like things like that, and I don't know if it's like on Facebook, people are talking about their vehicles were stolen out of their driveways.
I saw one today that mentioned Dogtown, but Dogtown's a big river,
Yeah,
so I don't know
right,
if that's
right.
even-
But I don't know, I mean, maybe it's just that we're just seeing the same posts over and over.
Or
and-
it's the same offender over and
Or
over.
it's the same offender over,
Yeah.
yeah, same
Oh,
person.
really?
I don't know if
Yes,
we need
it
to,
is.
I don't know if we
Oh, wow.
need to address it maybe at
I don't
a
even know how he's
meeting
not thrown
or.
in jail.
Well, I can tell you that stolen vehicles in Angels hasn't super increased. There may have been one or two,
Okay.
maybe in the most in the last month.
We're just seeing it on Nextdoor and,
Yeah, or they're not reporting
or
it.
they're not reporting it, okay.
Stolen property out of vehicles is a big thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm seeing is a lot of, stolen property out of vehicles, so who knows if they're reporting it, but,
They're reporting it on Facebook.
well, and I see it on Nextdoor, and so I'm seeing it show up there, so, anyway, I don't know if it's something that we want to bring to the table, or talk about how we can make our neighborhood safer, not, like with watch programs. I don't know, I'm just gonna throw it out there, maybe you and I can chat offline and bring it back to Steve.
And if you could, Steve, maybe get Mr. Young's phone number and we can talk about where we need to put a sign if it's not there.
Do we still have the wayfinding studies from back when Ann Forrest was around?
I think those signs are up.
So the signs are up,
The
and
signs
they
are
use
up.
that
They're
study
not
to put those signs up.
But
Right.
that's not,
So that's how that.
I know what you're wanting.
But yeah.
it's not the same, it's like you're talking about the ones that,
I know what you want, yeah.
and it's
So-
different.
The only thing I can say too is from what I remember, and don't hold me to this either, when that roundabout comes in, that center
Yeah.
hub in there, we can decorate and do things we want to do in there. Now, I'm sure it has to be traffic controlled and you can't have bright flashing lights, you know what I mean? But I think there's things we can do in there and point people in the right direction and do different stuff too. So that is
I
coming
think that was a thought.
2026, somewhere in
That close?
27.
20, yeah, it goes out the bid in 26, starting 20,
Yeah,
either way.
27.
So there is that coming too, just so you know that we can do some stuff.
Yeah,
there. So
well,
either way.
in 2 years, it just seems like so much money goes to Murphy's, and we're missing out on tax revenue here that people aren't even aware there's an awesome downtown.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like, it's a sign. Let's just get a sign up. You know?
Yeah, the issue with signs and like the wayfinding signs is that they all have to be approved by Caltrans.
Right,
And
it's on
so
the
the
state.
wayfinding
Oh,
signs
yeah,
were there,
49.
like that was their template or whatever that we could use.
Right.
And, but on a sign that's specific just to like historic downtown, I think we can.
I did see something because like I said, I listened to the last meeting and I heard you talk, and, what's her name? Marin. When you're coming in, I thought I saw one over by Greenhorn.
There is before you get there.
And because I noticed it the other day, I'm like, oh, there is a sign, but there isn't really one from here.
There is.
Well, there is that Vallecito.
Yeah.
That Vallecito
That
on the
Vallecito
highway
on the
on 4.
as you
Yeah.
come
It tells
in.
you to come down
Yeah,
here.
as you turn on the Vallecito
Is
Road.
it
Could,
other than the ones that say you're in, like the ones that Sutton's made or whatever? Not
No,
those, but
these are like, they're like,
Council members, I'm sorry to interrupt, it's a great conversation.
I know, we
But
don't want to
off
talk about this.
topic,
Like,
Is
this
it
is-
something you
Okay.
wanted to be
we
brought
need to
back
agendize it.
Which was, okay, all right.
Maybe.
Any
Yes, we're gonna
any
do
other,
that.
thank you, Sarah. Any other agenda items? Okay, hearing none. Well, I want to thank all of you for attending our meeting. We're going to adjourn now to closed session and then come back and report out of closed session. So thank you folks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just technically.